What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is me, Jello the Casual Card Gamer, and today we are going to be looking at the first deck that I built out of Clan Collection Volume 5. It is Enigman Storm. This deck is so much fun to play. It is also very affordable to pick up if you guys are interested in making the deck, at least the last time I checked. But anyway, let's get straight into the deck profile. Alright, so starting off, of course, we have our Metalborg Black Boy, our starter. When rode upon, draw a card. If your opponent is grade 1 or greater, when you ride on top of it, then you get a quick shield as well. So, very nice, very simple, very like every other starter in V. And moving into the main meat of the deck, we have 4 copies of Enigman Storm. So Enigman Storm's abilities are pretty cool. First one, not as good in V Premium, seeing as he's the only Enigman in the format, but during your turn he gets plus 5k for each Enigman in your soul. Second ability, and the main meat of his abilities, is so at the beginning of your attack step, if this unit's power is 20,000 or greater, he gets a crit. At 35k or greater, he gets an extra drive check, and at 50 he restands, loses all of his drive checks for this cost of discarding 2. So really nice. He's swinging at least 50k 2 times with a crit, and on a good day triple drive. So really fun grade 3 to base a deck around. If you haven't watched my match video with this deck, go ahead and check that out. I'll have a link to it somewhere, probably in the description of this video, so you can go and watch this after. And that is Enigman Storm. Now, the card that makes this even more fun, we play 4 copies of Black Clad Top Tier Deity Brad Black. First ability, once per turn you can counterblast 1 to give 3 units in your front row plus 10k. Really free, all things considered. A counterblast for a front trigger in a deck that normally doesn't have access to front triggers is really nice. And second ability, for those of you that are not familiar with Brad Black, his ability is at the end of the battle that it attack and look at the top 7 cards of your deck for a grade 3, reveal up to 1 grade 3 from them and add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. Then if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, so if you're going second or if you're on turn 4, then you can discard 2 cards from your hand, ride a grade 3 not named Brad Black, and that unit gets plus 10k and minus 1 drive until end of turn. So really good. Later on I'll show a little line of play that I like to do when playing the deck. It's a very simple deck, so hopefully it doesn't take too long to explain. But Brad Black into Enigman Storm into Enigman Storm Attack Part 2. Really fun. You get 4 drive checks and 3 Vanguard attacks, and 2 of those are guaranteed to be at least really big. Moving into our support grade 3s, we run 2 copies of Super Dimensional Robo Dizaris. So his first ability is one that I hope I never have to use, and that is during your turn it gets plus 5k for every card in your damage, so you can go anywhere from 5k to 25k. But his second ability, which is the main reason I run him, is at the end of the battle that it attacked, if your Vanguard's power is 35k or greater, which is almost guaranteed with Enigman Storm after riding it on top of Brad Black, you can counterblast 1, put it into your soul, and choose one of your Vanguards. It gets plus 10k and an extra drive until end of turn. So you're just pumping your Enigman Storm even more to make it even more annoying to guard or potentially take. That's it for Dizaris. And last, for our grade 3s, we run 2 copies of Die Kaiser. So first ability from Vanguard, if this unit's power is 35k or greater, it gets a crit. Pretty stock standard at this point. And the main ability that I run him for is from the front row rear guard or the Vanguard circle. At the end of the battle that a grade 3 was revealed for your drive check, if your opponent only guarded with a perfect guard during that attack, you can counterblast 1 and deal 1 damage to your opponent. If you do, you put Die Kaiser into your soul from rear guard. And when he is rode upon, you may call him to a front row and get an imaginary gift force and put it on your Vanguard circle. So all just ramping power for these 3, and then Die Kaiser is there for backup because of course you get 3 Vanguard swings, your opponent's guaranteed to PG at least one of them, And if they're caught unawares or they're trying to conserve hand by just tossing the bare minimum, then you can still snipe them with at least 1 damage during that battle. So that's really nice. And that is it for our regular grade 3s. Next, moving into the grade 2s, I think this one's pretty obvious. We run 4 copies of Dimensional Robo Kaiser. So his main ability, the main reason I run him in this deck, is when he's rode upon by a grade 3, you can discard a card from your hand and get an imaginary gift force added to your Vanguard circle. And during your turn, if there's a force marker on your Vanguard, he gets plus 10k. Then if you have 3 or more markers, he gets another 10k. So he's a 30k beater, and he gets you imaginary gift ramp, which is really nice. Next, we run 4 copies of Platinum Ace. All the grade 2s after Kaiser, you can really just do whatever you want. I just like Platinum Ace because, one, if I do end up riding him, he's at least 15, so people can't cheese guard with Quick Shield just in case they want to cop out of some early game damage. And the second ability, which is super easy to get to, is when it attacks, if your Vanguard's power is 30k or greater, you can Soul Blast 1, he gets plus 10k and a crit. So you're just pressuring with crits all day long, which is really fun. And last but not least, we run 2 copies of Dimensional Robo Die Dragon. So from Vanguard or Rearguard, you can Soul Blast 1 once per turn, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets plus 5k until end of turn. Then, if your Vanguard's power is 35k or more, it gets plus 10k, so it's a 20k beater. That's it for our grade 2s. Now, moving into the grade 1s. Now this is where I had the most fun putting stuff in. So we run, first off, we run 3 copies of Twin Order. When it boosts, one of your Vanguards gets plus 10k until end of turn for each of your force markers. So Twin Order gives you so much value because Enigman Storm will become gigantic. And that's kind of what you want when your Vanguard is swinging for an abnormally large number already. So there we go. 3 copies, pretty simple. Generally, you only need 1 on the field for you to get really good value out of it. 2 maybe if you have 1 behind a rear guard and then 1 behind Enigman Storm when you swing with it the first time. So lots and lots and lots of extra power there. Next, we run 3 copies of Cosmic Hero Grand Rope, so grade 3 Searcher, and if you have a grade 3 on your field, it gets plus 5k. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Next, we run 3 copies of Dimensional Robo Die Scooper. In terms of searching, he's a little more forgiving than Grand Rope. The only difference is you have to ride a grade 2 on top of Die Scooper to be able to search your top 7 for a grade 3, but at least you don't have to discard anything after. So there we go, 3 Die Scoopers. And last but not least, we run 2 copies of Dimensional Robo Die Prop. I probably would switch numbers with these, but then keep these 2 relatively consistent because you still want to be able to search for grade 3s with Grand Rope. So Die Prop, when it's placed on Vanguard, you can reveal a normal unit and put it at the bottom of your deck. Draw a card. If you revealed a grade 3 for the cost, you can draw 2. So pretty nice. You put 1 back to draw 2. Very simple. And act once per turn, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets plus 5k for each force marker on your Vanguard circle. So just more ways for you to be able to pump your Vanguard when you're going for those multiple attacks. So there we go. And that is it for the grade 1s. Now we move into the triggers. So for this setup, I run 6 crit, 4 draw PGs, and 2 extra draws, so it's 6 and 6, and then of course 4 heal guardians. And yeah, the reason for it is I still like the draws so that I can get into my pieces a lot easier, or at least I have more chances to draw into my pieces a lot easier. And then of course my Vanguard and some of my rear guards already have built-in crits, so as long as your opponent's at 4 damage, then your opponent has to guard your Vanguard twice a turn. So it's pretty straightforward there. But anyway, that is it for the deck list, and let's get into some of the lines of play, shall we? So we'll just go from this, from Black Boy into anything on grade 1. It could be Grand Rope. Then I think it goes without saying that your main priority ride for grade 2 is Kaisered, just because when you ride your first grade 3, which you want to be Brad Black, you want to be able to proc that extra force marker. So from grade 2 to grade 3, discard a card from your hand for Kaiser's skill, and then activate Brad Black's automatic imaginary gift to give you 2. If you're going second, then you can go right from turn 3. And from there, it can really just be a combination of anything, but generally what I like to see on my field is at least something like this. So this would probably be a pretty decent field already. And it is actually very easy to get here with all the draws and everything. And Brad Black, before attacking, counterblast 1 to give your front row 10k. He already has 20k off of the 2 force markers, one from Kaiser and then one from himself. You would swing with him just by himself for 43, and then, so you would just drive checks, 1, 2, nothing. You would search top 7 for a grade 3. I'll just pick that up there. So that's already one 43k attack. And if your opponent guarded, then with a PG, then you can die Kaiser for an extra damage, or you activate Brad Black's ability, discard 2 cards, and then ride Enigman Storm on top of that. Enigman Storm gets plus 10 off of Brad Black, loses a drive check, but also gains back a drive check, so he's still at twin drive. And you also get another force marker. So you're automatically at 53k. You're already guaranteed to restand Storm at this point. So from here, you could do a multitude of things. You could go with Enigman Storm first, boosting with Twin Order. Twin Order will give an extra 30k to Enigman Storm. So that would be, let's see, so 13 plus 70, 73 plus 8 is 81. So you would get your twin drive from there. Then discard 2 cards from your hand to restand him, and he's still at that huge number. Then you can attack with Dizaris. Dizaris activates and Twin Order activates. So Twin Order would give another 30. So that will go to plus 70. Dizaris, at the end of the battle that he attacks, goes into the soul. And then Storm gets another 10k and the drive check. So on that third swing, he's swinging for 123,000, I believe. And a single drive check, which would do something. And since you drive check a grade 3, if your opponent doesn't guard with anything more than a PG, then you can deal an automatic damage to them. Or you can just keep that up and open and swing with Die Kaiser there. So that's kind of the main thing. Now, of course, this does require these 3 pieces to work, or maybe 4 pieces to work, but that's why we run 4 copies of Kaiser, so that you have more chances to just naturally draw into him. And Twin Order, again, is really good, but sometimes you don't even need him. It is just fun to get your Vanguard power to 6 digits. And yep, that is it for this deck profile. What do you guys think? I'm sorry if the line of play portion was a little wonky. I've never done it before, so let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you guys want to see more of those in future videos, let me know, and I will do my best to work on my explanations. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave your comments and suggestions down below. Tell your friends if you think that they'll like what we got going on the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. There will be a couple more Enigman Storm games coming up, and that is it. I am Jelly the Casual Card Gamer. Take care.